The first time that I ever ate this dish was at a little seafood cafe a couple 100 miles south of Rio de Janeiro, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It almost has a Thai-like flavor between the lime juice, the coconut milk, the saltiness of the clam juice, and the cashew butter. It's phenomenal. It's a moqueca, which is Brazilian seafood stew. The first thing that we've done is we've cut some firm-fleshed white fish. I prefer to use halibut for this, and we take a big pot and we preheat it, and we add a little bit of oil. This halibut we've seasoned with a few tablespoons of fresh lime juice and a little bit of salt. If you find that your fish doesn't soak up all the lime juice, you can just pat it dry a little. I'm gonna place these cubes one by one in there with some nice space around them because I want them to brown evenly, and we don't like overcrowding our pan. Now you can see here, we're getting some of that light browning. I'm just gonna let those sear a little longer on one side. People get so tied to a recipe that they forget that there's a little bit of kitchen logic involved. And if your fish, and in this case this halibut, is just so beautiful and you don't want pieces of it to fall apart prematurely, don't worry about it, it's a soup. Just get a good brown sear on one side because we're looking for that caramelized halibut flavor on the bottom of the pan. We're not necessarily looking for it to be browned on one side for any other reason other than what it contributes to the inside of the soup, not the outside of the fish. We have that oil in there, we have a little bit of the fat from the fish. We're gonna add our garlic, sliced onions, some hot chili, and about half our cilantro. We're just gonna stir that and let that cook. I'm gonna take a little sea salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle that on my onions. Helps draw out the moisture. Moisture goes to the bottom of the pan. Moisture evaporates, creates that caramelization effect. Our onions have softened. I'm gonna add my tomato paste. Once the tomato paste goes in, you sort of have to be a little more prudent because the tomato paste can scorch easily on the bottom of this. So now that that's cooked for a couple minutes, we're adding our broth. I'm gonna raise the heat and let that boil. Remember, lid off allows for more evaporation. Lid on holds all the moisture inside the pot. Coconut milk, that's simply the coconut water and the scraped meats pulverized together, then squeezed out. That creates that nice, thick, beautiful, natural coconut sweetness. You don't want one with any additional sugars. Coconut milk and water is all you need. I'm just gonna stir this together. Between the tomato paste and the coconut milk, even before it comes back to a boil, it's actually becoming a little more viscous. And it's gonna thicken up a little bit with the addition of the cashew butter. It's gonna thin out a little bit when the mussels open in there. So, I consider it kind of a culinary trade-off. I'm gonna let this simmer for a couple minutes and get a little tighter before I add my seafood, which won't take long to cook at all. Now, if seafood is your thing, we have lots of recipes and videos on andrewzimmern.com. If you don't like shrimp, maybe you care for clams rather than mussels, go for it. Any combination of seafood works here. This is starting to look thick enough. I'm going to add my shrimp, some mussels, give this a stir. If your mussels are all sitting in the liquid, as these ones are, you don't need to put the lid back on. If you have a narrower pot or you're adjusting the recipe or you just love mussels and you have a whole bunch of them in there and they're sitting out of the liquid, you're gonna need to use the lid so that they open and cook in a uniform fashion. But as you can see, 30 seconds later, some of them are starting to open. When you see that, I just make a little space in the middle there where there's not a lot of mussels and I'm not gonna break anything. And I take my cashew butter and I place it right in the middle and I just stir. We see the shrimp starting to curl. We see the rest of the mussels starting to open. So I have my fish and some of their accumulated juices. I want them to cook during the last 45, 60 seconds of that process. Now it's time to season. Some more of that chopped cilantro. I'm just gonna hold back a few little pieces just for the top. Don't need much salt. You know, the shrimp and the mussels have a saline brininess that contributes to this. A little bit of lime juice, and that's the last thing I add. One stir, there you go. Classic Brazilian moqueca. Simple, easy, fresh for you Food Network fans, geeky competition show lovers. I made this on the first episode of All Star Academy and it won.
just saying.